Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Heinz57 here with episode 3 of the SwaySide Connection podcast, where I basically interviewed my old high school friends, and apparently people sometimes like to watch them. On today's episode, Spanaway got that loud, and you guys are in for a great interview that I did with an old friend of mine who also graduated from Spanaway Lake High School in 1998. Before we get started, I have some housekeeping items. I just wanted to give some thank yous mostly to you guys turning this into a thing, because I just felt a lot of pressure because the last couple of videos are getting more views than I'm used to seeing on my channel. I also gained 100% more followers in this last week, which is crazy to gain 100%. So I basically doubled up. So thank you to all the new subscribers up there that hit that subscribe button. I'm just thankful for that. And I got a good job from Corey's grandma, who sent that message that I did a good job. I got a text from somebody I went to junior high with that said they had subscribed. Thank you for that, Alex. And then obviously I can't forget my number one subscriber, who was also happy with my last video. A shout out to my Uso Christian out there in Teroas. And I have a free newsletter where I try to read a book every 1 to 2 weeks, and I write a 1 minute email about what I got out of that book. And also, if you have questions about life insurance, feel free to email me. That is in, so both the link for the newsletter and the email, if you have questions, any sort of questions about life insurance, like, what's the difference between term and whole life? And it could be anything. Would I qualify if I, have cancer? Sometimes it might be yes. It all depends. There's a lot of different factors. So if you have questions about life insurance, feel free to ask me. Shoot me an email and I can help you out there. And lastly, one of the homies from Spanaway has a band by the name of Two Story Zori, an island reggae band, and they will be performing free. So it depends on when you're watching this. Obviously, if you're watching this after Saturday, March 8th, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you're watching this before Saturday, March 8th, they'll be performing free in Bellevue at Pacifica Grill and Bar. Now, it is free. You do have to call this number to reserve a spot. And this number is 425-285-7900. Once again, that number is 425-285-7900. You can check out Two Story Zori. They do island reggae, that nice feel-good music. They're performing from 6 to 9. But if you call that number, they'll tell you exactly all the details and how to reserve a spot. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I'm just thankful that you guys are coming along on this journey. I appreciate it. Enjoy. Before I introduce my guest for this episode, I just want to preface a few things, just because this dude is a storyteller. And I feel like he has 3 levels of storytelling that all start with A. And the first one I would say would be when he's annoyed, right? That's the one. He doesn't really say too much, and you could tell just his facial expressions, he's kind of annoyed. The second level, which is a good one, is animated. He is animated. He uses his hands, and he's pretty loud. The best one, the one that you need to see in person live, is when he tells a story all out. And he's standing when he tells a story. I mean, he's not sitting down, and he's going all out. And so I just wanted to introduce, because he's a little injured right now, so you might not get to see the all-out version. That's the version a lot of us like to talk about. So we'll get to see a lot of the animated version of the storytelling today. So I just wanted to preface that, just because he's a little injured, and I don't want him to hurt himself anymore, because we are in our mid-40s right now. So with that being said, welcome to the SwaySide Connection podcast. Who am I with?
This is Big Jay.
Big Jay. Welcome, Jay.
Thanks, Big Oos. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited. Honestly, ever since I seen James's episode and then I seen Corey's, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
These are so fun. We were just talking before I started pushing record, and we probably talked for 20 minutes straight. And I'm like, dude, we got to save this, because we were just catching up and just talking about all the different stories that we have, because, man, we've known each other since junior high.
7th grade.
Yeah, Cedar Crest Junior High.
I've known James since 7th grade. That's a lot of years, right? So
hella.
There's so many stories, and especially with you and I mean, we've done a lot of stuff together through parties and bachelor parties and just college, just everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
we went to junior high, high school, college, and then we've kicked it ever since. And like we still keep in touch today. So
the last time you came back from Samoa, you hit me up and we went to in Federal Way and had drinks up at the bar over there, over by
yeah,
Daniel's
that's
house.
right.
Yep.
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, it's been a long time and a lot of just different things that we've done, stories for
Yeah.
days.
Stories for days. I have a little word association game where I know if I tell you a couple of these words, then you could tell a story. Should we just go?
Whatever you feel like, man. I mean, let's get into it. Don't matter.
Okay. I have random stuff that I wrote down, and one of my favorite stories I wasn't there for, right? But so the word association for this would be kicked bed. Kicked
Oh my
bed.
God. Wow.
Sorry.
So,
Can you tell us about that? What was going on there?
all right. So UW was me, Daniel Achave, Goodall, and
Okay.
then we went to visit Zach, who
Yes.
Zach was in the Marines at the time. He was
Okay.
stationed in Camp Pendleton. We were like, oh, let's go to San Diego. Let's hang out in Oceanside. Right. So we fly down there and Zach was going to let us use his truck. So Zach picks us up from the airport, brings us to the hotel, and then Goodall has to bring him back to the barracks. So
Yeah.
Goodall's gone, and then it was
Yes.
Tim. I think Tim was with us too.
Yep. Yep. I think he was.
Yeah, so it was Tim and Daniel, and then myself stayed back, and we were in the room, like Days Inn or Comfort Inn or something,
Yeah.
right? And of course, back then I smoked heavily, and so Goodall takes Zach back to the barracks. I roll a blunt. We smoke a blunt. Then I'm telling these guys, Daniel and Tim are chilling. I'm telling them this story about, I was like, Ripley's Believe It or Not. And this guy is on there and they have literally like a Taekwondo master, Muay Thai kickboxer, right? And so this guy, he gets like, from the Taekwondo guy, he literally gets throated, just douche as hard as, I mean, they're like, yeah, it takes 7.5 pounds of pressure to collapse an Adam's apple. And this guy is standing there, and this Taekwondo master just karate chops this dude in the throat, and he takes it. Then they bring out the Muay Thai guy. And the Muay Thai guy, he's like straight. I mean, he's like Tong Po, right? He's literally getting ready.
Kickboxer. Yes.
And yes, from kickboxer back in the day. So he kicks this dude in the balls harder than you've ever seen anybody kick in your life. So I'm showing Daniel and Tim, and I stand up and I'm like really getting into this kick. I mean, this is the hardest I've ever kicked in my entire life. And I go to kick and I hit. So the corner of the bed is like sticking out from the mattress like 2 inches. It's not lined up, but the comforter is over the top of it. So you can't see that it's sticking out, right? So I hit this corner of the bed so hard. And then I literally, in one swoop, I jump on top of Daniel and Tim. And whenever like I hurt myself, I'm always like, shit, mommy, like, oh my God, right? So I start doing that, and then I feel blood gushing down my leg. So I get up and I hop. And bro, Daniel and Tim both are like, I've never seen anybody take 2 steps and hop that far. I literally get to the bathroom, I get in the tub, and there's blood everywhere. I mean, it looks like a murder scene.
My God.
And I got the water running on my foot, and I'm telling these guys, I'm like, hey, you guys, I need to know if I need to go to the hospital. I need you to look at this and really tell me, right? And Tim can't even look at it. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. Daniel's looking at it. He's like, dude, I can see like bone or muscle, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, we got to go to the hospital bad. So I wrap my foot up. We're still waiting for David to get back with Zach's like 88 Toyota Tacoma, right? The littlest cab ever. We don't even have enough room for all of us. So Daniel and Tim sit in the back. Dave's driving. I'm in the front with my foot like on like up in the air on the on the dash, right?
Jeez.
This is pre-cell phones. So it's not like you can just...
This is probably
Where's the nearest hospital?
1999 or 2000.
99, maybe 2000.
Or 2000. Yeah.
So not everybody had cell phones, and they weren't what they were today. You couldn't just get on there and Google it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find this hospital. It's in the middle of the night, and we get to the hospital finally.
You guys just got there.
We just got there. Like I said, we hadn't even been there for 3 hours. This was the start of spring break vacation. Literally, we get into the hospital. I'm waiting, and there's like, the waiting room's packed. We look over, and there's this kid, and he is so sick. I mean, this kid was puking. I mean, I swear to God, he had puke coming out of his ears, everything, right? We're waiting for hours. Finally, I get seen. I have to get stitches in the top of my foot, and I had hit it so hard that I could not put any pressure on my foot at all. So the next day, we had to go get crutches, and so that whole week was ruined for me within the first 3 hours of spring break.
So did they give you a cast? They put you in a cast or something, or like a boot?
No cast.
Or
it
something?
Was just they just stitched it up. They threw an ace bandage around it and was like, "All right, see you later." And they didn't actually give me crutches. So the next day, I had to find a medical supply company and go buy crutches. So the rest of the vacation, we're on the beach. They're all playing football, throwing frisbee, and I'm trying to walk on crutches in sand. It was terrible. Worst vacation I've ever had in my life. Mind you, smoked everything I had within like the first couple of days because that's the only thing I could do. Bro, worst vacation I've ever had. It was still, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was still fun because I was with the boys.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So,
That's brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
So, like, when you guys went to the beach, what were you doing?
I'm literally barely being able to walk because every time I, like, put my crutches into the sand, it's sinking.
Yeah.
So I'm barely able to walk, and I'm just watching them. I'm watching them have fun on the beach. We went to Mission Beach, and, of course, the whole time I'm just in brutal pain. So, yeah, it was terrible. But, hey, what are you going to do, right? I wasn't going to fly home.
Hey.
So yeah, that's
what you call it. Now you said you watched the first first couple episodes of the podcast, right?
Yeah,
and then you said when you were watching it.
Yeah, I didn't get all the way through with James, but I watched probably 95% of Corey's. So
and then you were saying that like off of those episodes though, it made you think of stories. Like what stories did it make it you think of?
Well, I mean, of course, with James and the whole bachelor party, that was a great time. I mean, I enjoy doing things big.
That's perfect. Yes.
That's kind of what I do.
What bottle was that? What bottle was that?
To be honest with you,
yeah, what bottle was that? What kind of box was that?
I just know it was a tequila. It was a extra anejo tequila because James said he liked tequila. So I was like, all right, well, let me get something, right? Man, honestly, I think it was like a $800 bottle. Came with that special leather box, its own like corkscrew to open it. The box was filthy. Yeah. I mean, I hope he still has it because honestly, like the box was really the main reason why I bought it. I was like, all right, well, but it was crazy because we annihilated that bottle so fast that it was almost like we didn't do the tequila justice. You know what I mean? Like we were shooting it. When I mean that kind of tequila is obviously meant to be sipped on and enjoyed.
Exactly.
But I mean, we enjoyed it nonetheless, you know?
Yeah.
So and then
we did. We
I know you mentioned going to like Tia Lou's, and then we did wind up somewhere And that was where we got kicked
Yeah.
out. I don't exactly remember where it was at because we were at a table.
Yeah.
I was pretty
It was
belligerent.
10 years ago. Yeah.
It was a
I'm
long
glad that
time.
everybody got home safe. We
Oh,
found
yeah.
everybody
I
rides
mean,
home, even with all that drinking that we did. No, we were very
yeah, because
responsible
there was no way,
for
there
that.
was no way that I was driving that night, especially. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's been plenty of times where everyone's like, Jay, you're the best drunk driver out of all of us. And I'm like, no, that's not
That
what we should be doing
that's
right
not a
now.
thing. That's
But hey, that's
exactly.
youth, right?
Kids don't
That's
do
the
this at
youth
home.
coming out.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the youth coming out of us. So I mean, nowadays though, it's beautiful because we got Ubers and all of that, and none of us are not. We're not scared to
Yeah.
take those if we need to. So it's come a
So I
long
didn't
way.
really talk or no, it has. Well, the other story I brought up in James's episode was when we went to Vegas for the first time.
Yeah. So I do remember that.
Do you remember
Because that was
anything? Do you remember
literally
anything from that?
it was 6 days after 9/11. Wasn't even sure if we were going to be able to even go, but we were.
Go. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
And so here's the crazy thing. So I do remember a couple of things. The one thing that actually stands out though was I remember because you were there, I think, visiting your parents.
No, they weren't
I
there
want
yet.
to say,
No, I was there. No, I wasn't. I was there with y'all. So the 17th, as you can see, it was on a Monday, and so that's James's birthday. So you guys arrived on a Monday. I came Thursday. So 17, 18, 19, 20. So I came on the 20th. So you guys had already
so
been there
all I
like 2 or 3
remember
days. So
is
I
we
come
got
and
a
I join you
cot,
guys on the 20th.
and we got a cot, right? So the one thing that
I
stands
already know
out
where you're going.
after that first night, that next morning when we woke up and you were laying on the cot in your whitey tighties, nothing over you. I was
I wear
like,
boxer briefs now, but yes,
I was like, brother, I was like, hey,
yes.
we need to change that up because I don't ever want to see that ever again, right? So that actually stood out to me. Another thing that really stood out to me was the one night we got a limo and we were out clubbing, and our driver's name was Greg as well. And we called him Big Jeezy.
Oh,
Because Greg was with us and James was with us. And then we happened to go to a club. And bro, I was the only white dude in that piece. The only white dude. There was some white females there that were hooked up with black dudes.
yeah.
But I was the only
Yes.
white dude in there. But and it's crazy because I know you guys with Corey, you guys had talked about being from Spanaway, right? And the thing about it is even though I was the only white cat in that piece, I didn't feel out of place really because I mean, we grew up with so many different ethnicities and races
And people will see on this podcast. And that's another thing I'm excited to show, just how
100%.
diverse we were.
And that was one thing that I always take from growing up from Spanaway is that
hell yeah,
I can go into any environment and I'll still feel comfortable. It's not
good.
like I grew up only around white people. We just mix so much with everybody.
It wasn't really even a thing. And so that's why it's
I mean, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't like, oh, you're white, oh, you're black, oh, you're Islander. Like, it was like, yo, we're homies.
It was more,
Nonetheless, we're homies. Regardless of whatever color we were all homies. And that's what mattered.
For sure. That's why, that's why I love being from Spanaway. And that's why I like repping the Sway. And that's why another reason why I'm doing this podcast. I'm trying to change the search engine optimization for Spanaway in the YouTube space. Like eventually when people search for Spanaway, they'll see us telling our old Spanaway stories, our old 90s stories, early 2000 stories. And so
it's funny because when we went to UW, I can remember we stayed at McMahon and
that's
Goodall was my roommate.
Yeah.
And you and
Chave was my roommate.
We lived in the same cluster.
Yeah.
And then across the hall,
That was fun.
all the girls lived in that one. It was Aaron, Jill, Laura.
Yeah.
I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
But
And then the
funny.
other, yeah. I was gonna say the guys next to us too. We got tight with them too. And then next to our, yeah,
for sure. But the
Scotty and
girls, though, all those girls were like white, right? So
yeah, from every other part of the state of Washington, right?
100%.
Like we were Spanaway boys that we all happened to be in the same cluster. And then we were meeting people from all different parts of the state of Washington, which was the first time I've ever met somebody from Vancouver, Washington, from, you know, Spokane, Washington. I'd never met. I mean,
I think a couple girls were from Linwood, but they were white, right? So, and they grew up they were white. They couldn't understand a lot of our slang. So I literally remember every week, every couple of weeks, we would introduce a new slang term to these girls. And then when we'd see them around the way, they would try to use it in the proper manner. But I mean, they tried.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was another thing that was like, man, I'm glad for Spanaway because we were just comfortable in every situation.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, since you brought that up, word association, Acey Deucey. What does Acey Deucey mean to you?
And I knew you were going to bring this up. I knew it too. So I'll say that was, when I was in college, I was broke. And we were playing that game, Acey Deucey. You had to pick high or low from the cards, yada, 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 right? So stop.
If you don't know what it is, look it up.
My dog's going crazy right now.
All good.
So I remember we were playing Acey Deucey, and I had basically a win-win scenario. But just in case I lost, I didn't have the money to cover it. So I was like, man, should I take this? Should I do this or not? Because I don't know how I'm going to cover it if I somehow lose. And I remember our roommate, Ken, good old Ken. He was from Tyee High School.
Yep. I saw him last time I was in. I saw him at the casino.
I love
last
Ken,
time I was in. Yeah. I
love
do too.
Ken.
I'll see him random everywhere.
You know,
he goes to Ohana's a lot.
Yeah, the last time I seen him was at Ohana's.
Okay.
And his girlfriend was friends with April Crawl. Or April Ramsey. And so they just happened to be there. And I seen them and it was like, whoa, what's up, Ken? Blah, blah, blah. But anyways, Ken says
he used to work with Chris Ramsey. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yep. Perfect. When we were playing the Acey Deucey, Ken had the money and he's like, yo, you're gonna win. Don't even worry about it. He's like, if you lose, I got you. He's like, whenever you can pay me, you can pay me. It's no big deal, right? Of course, I win. I win like $168, something like that, right? Yeah.
We were so broke.
Yes. So 168.
It
should have been like, well, let me save it for a rainy day.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, we're throwing a party and we're going big. I give them all $168 and I'm like, get every bottle you can possibly get. It was probably 10 or 11 bottles that he got. And
much cheaper back then.
Oh, way cheaper. Yeah. Way cheaper.
Yeah. Way cheaper.
So I give him the money. He comes back. He's got all the booze. And so we're like, all right, let's throw this party. Now, mind you, it's pretty hard to throw a party and get away with it. You can't make that much noise. But the homies down the hall, who shout out to Jason Likeness, Scott Fujita, blah, blah, blah. They were from Lindbergh High School, and we all became really close with those cats. So we had the party down in their cluster. they had a big house speakers and the whole 9 yards. And back then, Napster just came out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Napster was the one, right? So we could get music finally, like just download music. And we had that good internet at UW. So you were getting
Yes,
songs like that. And so I remember we were like, let's throw a party. They invited a bunch of people from that they knew. We invited everyone we knew. And literally it was wall to wall people. People were
it was
standing on the
crazy.
couches
I don't know how
dancing.
we didn't get shut down like
I
earlier.
do. This is why. Because, and I'll tell you why. So I
Yep.
happened to be on duty because it was like a Friday or a Saturday night.
Is that what it
So
was?
so she came around and she told us to quiet it up, yada yada yada, right? Well, we kind of smoothed her into coming in and having a drink.
Yeah.
So she comes in, has a drink. She's back in the other room.
Wow.
And I literally remember, and I mean, dude, we got away with it. And it was wall to wall people. And all this was set up in Ken's room. And it was drinks and just everything you could imagine. And I mean, everyone was belligerent. But yeah, we got
That was
away with it.
crazy.
And it
Yeah.
was one of the most epic parties to not get
Busted
stopped.
early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Busted.
usually those
Yeah,
things get
100%.
busted early. Especially like when there's people there, like they'll tell other people there. But hey, this is like before cell phones were really a thing. So it's not like, it's like you
Yeah.
kind of either had to know, but you heard us too. Cause like, the music was kind
But
of
yeah,
playing too.
those,
So
bro, listen, those house speakers,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
were pretty loud.
What's
Luckily,
funny.
it was at least on a weekend, but you
Yeah.
know how it is. There's some kids that are there and they want to study even on the weekends. We
Yeah.
weren't really like that.
We weren't
So
the most studious, for sure. What's funny talking about that cluster, that reminds me of the other story. I was walking, I think it might have been me and Daniel. We were coming back from the IMA. We had just got done working out, and then you were in on their balcony, and
yep,
then you seen me,
I seen
and then
you.
you just yell out with the chee hoo, like the loudest chee hoo, because you're already in the air. I mean, we were probably like eighth floor. I mean, we were
Something
up
like
there,
that.
seventh floor, eighth
Yeah,
floor.
seventh, eighth floor,
And
something like that.
so
Yeah, yeah.
your voice also, you're not only just loud, but your voice echoes. So like
I'm
your
loud.
Chihu was super.
Yeah.
But then I respond with my Chihu. My Chihu's no slouch, my fa umu, for the Samoans out there.
You're Samoan, so your Chihu should be loud. Most people
For sure, for sure, for sure.
listen, most people don't expect my Chihu to represent, right? Because I'm white,
Yes,
right? So
for
like they
sure.
just don't expect it. But
Yeah.
I'm the
No, yours
loudest
is loud.
cat out there.
So what's funny is we do that for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, right? And then I still got to make my way up to our room, which was next door to the balcony that he was at because he was just visiting the homies. And then by the time I guess they had locked their balcony because of
Voice complaint.
noise complaints. So he
Yeah.
got their balcony locked up, even though he didn't stay in that room. He didn't stay there. That wasn't that was our neighbors. Basically, me and Jay were just too loud. And, yeah, we got that. My bad, guys. That's,
Yeah.
my bad to those
Sorry.
guys. Cause those guys were pissed. They were like, dude, you got our balcony locked up.
Sorry. And so Scott used to go by Fast Foot. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
And then of course, for the longest time, and this wasn't my doing, this was all like Jason's high school homies.
Yeah.
They all called him Cracker.
For
And I
sure.
mean, he was white. He was white. And I mean, I didn't used to call him Cracker, but after hanging out with all his boys from high school and this and that, eventually I started calling him Cracker as well. But he didn't love that. He didn't love that nickname. I mean, come on, it's not a great nickname, right?
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
It's not one you want to be somewhere and yell out into a crowd. That's
Yeah, you don't want to go, hey, what's up, Cracker?
especially in the state of Washington, because there's just a lot of, so yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. No,
Another,
that was a
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
as far as we went. Now, I had been to, I rushed. Shout out to Derek Martinez, Ryan Pendon, because they were part of Psi Upsilon, and they reached out to me after I graduated high school. And you guys came to a few parties with me, but that was kind of my thing. Like, I've always envisioned myself being part of a fraternity.
Yeah.
And I remember going to a couple of big, huge parties there. And I remember we went on a river float at the Yakima River, and that was wild. So, yeah, I mean, but that was our first big party ourselves.
Your favorite class in high school?
That's tough for me because, I mean, in high school, I was a very good student, right? So, I mean, that was what I was focused on all classes. I enjoyed math. Honestly, though, one of my favorite classes, it was Mr. Kennedy's chemistry, bro.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, on our class, we had a lot of cats in there, a lot of super, super smart people. But Mr. Kennedy, his little things that he would do, I mean, everyone was like, dude, that cat is weird. And yeah, he was weird, but it was funny. Like, just the things he would do. I mean, it was, So
you remember who else was in that? Do you remember who else was in that class with you?
We had Alan Ballasandrum, Ralph Feltus, Ezra Kim, Zach Olson was in that class with us. We had Mark Shadell.
People from that class.
Yeah. Oh, and then you know who else we had? We had Kaylee Culbertson. Okay. So I mean, we had literally like the smartest kids people of our class, right? And it was just a fun class. And like I said, Mr. Kennedy, all his little quirks and stuff, it was just funny, dude. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed weightlifting. I had some reason. I really enjoyed that class. Alan, I mean, still this day, a few years back, actually, I hooked up with Goodall and Alan and Ralph Feltus, and we all went out to Brazilian Steakhouse.
Oh, dope. Which one?
We went to the Grill at Ipanema.
Okay. Yep. Seattle.
Yep. Seattle, downtown First Ave, I think
Seattle.
it is. It is.
Oh, it is? Okay,
I know that's... So actually, just Saturday, Randy Pinotes and I went to Fogo de Chao in Bellevue. And his favorite spot is Grill at Ipanema. And really? we always go there usually. But they don't have the biggest salad bars, so like it's not my favorite spot. I like Fogo better. I like Novilos better. Just because they have better salad bars. I mean, I know you're there for the meat, really.
No,
but
I like
to me, the meat is all the same. So that's what sets it apart from the next is how good is the salad bar? You know, what kind of stuff do they have?
What items do you look for? Because like for me, when I go do Brazilian, I got to make sure like if they have blue cheese is kind of what I like because I love eating that with my steaks. So
listen, blue cheese is my absolute favorite.
No way. Okay.
But yeah, to where like I will get, and the stankier, the better. Bless you.
Agree.
So
Thank you.
Most people are like, I need a more mild, so they kind of go with more gorgonzola. I want the stinkiest blue cheese you could ever imagine.
And I love throwing that. Love having that
on top of a steak. Yeah. But I don't even need to do that. I will just sit there and murder blue cheese all by itself. And I like that with like any kind of apples or any kind of grapes, stuff like that.
I was going to say, because you kind of want to counter it because it's with that much
strong.
Funk, you do want to counter it with something like obviously like deli meats like salami, pepperoni. Like I'll smash those too. I mean, with some blue cheese.
You know, I grew up Italian, so the good prosciutto to me with some blue cheese, some good Parmesan. I love it.
Hell yeah, with a little gabagool.
And I actually, that's funny that you say that because I never refer to Capicola as gabagool, but Same. I know that's what the kids are saying these days.
From I think that's from Sopranos. That's where
it's from Sopranos for sure. Which actually I just literally in the last probably 2 weeks, started drinking wine.
That's
Never
random.
Been a fan of it. I still don't like all wines, but I know.
What are you drinking right now?
So right now I'm drinking a Pinot Noir from Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pinot Noir. Nice.
So I really like it. I really like it. I'm not super versed in wines, so I don't know all the different ones, and I know the different names and stuff like that, but I'm not super versed, but
Yeah.
I'll get there
Look at
because
your palate changing with the
anything
as
I
you
do,
age.
I try to take it to the next level. I mean,
Literally
whatever it is.
aging like fine wine.
Yeah.
That's
I
that's
will
perfect.
be a wine expert within the next year.
Yeah, for sure. I could see it. I could see it. You got to try. Do you like reds more than whites?
Yeah, so I'm trying to stick with reds because I'm a type 2 diabetic,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So drier reds are less sugar. So I try to kind of stick to those because
Yeah.
I don't want to spike my blood sugar a whole bunch. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at. But I do want to try all
Have,
kinds
have
for
you had a
sure.
Malbec yet?
No,
It's
I haven't.
dry. That's the one. Because you
Like,
keto, right? Yeah. So I do
yep,
keto,
yep.
and Malbec is kind of on that list of
Okay.
wines that are good for same thing, type two that are low sugar. If you want to drink stuff that's low in sugar, Malbec is one of those. A dry Malbec, like all the real expensive ones are from like Argentina or whatever, but you can still find a good one that's from California. And I remember I put Robert and Denise on Malbecs, man, a while back, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And like, that's like one of our go-tos now. So like if a like for me at least, if I'm going to drink wine, I always ask to see if they have a Malbec. And so there was this one time I went to, I forgot, it was a restaurant in Seattle and they had two bottles. They had like a $20 Malbec and then they had like a $200 Malbec, right? And so I was just like, to me, they all kind of like, I think all like, I don't know, I'm not the greatest connoisseur, right? I'm not well versed or can like taste the tannins or whatever you're supposed to do when you drink wine.
Yep, yep.
I'm pretty sure I asked for the $20 bottle. Well, they gave me the $200 bottle and they didn't tell me until it was time to pay. And then I was just like, dude, I didn't ask for the thing. So they honored the fact that I didn't ask for it, but
That was
yeah,
nice of them.
it was nice of them. They didn't really have to do that, but they did. And I'm trying to remember what place it was at. It was, but yeah, no, they hooked it up. And so it was basically, I got to drink a $200 bottle of Malbec. And so, yeah, put that on the list. You got to try it. It's good. So, and then
Yeah.
start with the lowest one, and then like start working your way up to like better ones. Because I think you'll like that one. I
I
think
mean,
you'll.
this is the thing. Something that you probably know about me is I usually go big. So I'm not going to say I'm going to get the $200 bottle right off the bat,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm going to get
You
a
do
little
go.
bit. I
You
do go
do.
big.
Like I said, I think I said in James's podcast. I think you do go extra. You are one to go to be a little extra every now and then. So
Yeah, not every now and then. I mean, it gets me in some trouble from time to time, but I mean, like I say, go big or go home. I
yeah.
mean, it's kind of my credo in life, really.
So this is another random debate that we had in some of the previous podcasts. Who who was the funniest person senior year in your eyes? It could be anybody, guy,
So
girl. It's been
I
officially
heard you guys
voted.
talking about that. Tim's always a funny guy, but you want to know somebody who I think, and honestly is still to this day, every time I see him,
I would love
and
to.
because we usually see him together, Billy Langdon, bro. Billy motherfucking Langdon. That dude is so hilarious,
I think
right?
he's
I
hilarious too.
listen, right off the
But
top,
I
I
will go on
think
record.
of
So did you think he was funny back then? Because I've been on record actually on this channel. My bad, Billy. But I didn't think he was funny back in the day. Maybe his
I
humor didn't
did
hit me right, but
he
now
got
he's
I
probably
mean he's
the most.
funnier now.
Oh, you think he's
Um
funnier now? Okay,
I
yeah.
think so, yeah. But to me, he's always been that guy that can make me laugh, like no matter what.
I love how he talks about you. So that's why I hope to get him on this podcast too. But
Oh,
because he
hey,
says, because
I'm
you
gonna
two,
text him. I'll text him and be like, hey,
when
you're
you
on,
two
bitch. You're going on.
two are together, That's
But
another
yeah,
thing that just makes me laugh. Just the combinations of people. Being with you and Corey is like one thing. Being with like you and James is a different.
yeah.
When you put different combinations together, you get these different things, and each time it's different kind of funny, different kind of hilarious, different kind of fun.
So I can remember when we went to Vegas for Daniel's bachelor party. And
Yeah, 10 years ago. Man, 2015 cracked. Like I've brought up 2015 a lot. We did a
yeah,
lot of stuff that
it was
year.
a good year. It was a
We
good
did a lot
year.
of stuff here. James got married that year. We went to Vegas for
I
Daniel's
actually got
bachelor party that
divorced
year.
that year, but that wasn't
That year. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that
crazy.
wasn't like it wasn't a great thing. I
Great
mean, that
thing. Yeah.
sucked. But so I will say that I can remember the one night I didn't really want to drink because I was like, oh, I've been going
I
hard the
remember
whole
that.
time. And Billy brings something out in me. Like if Billy says Nalder, because he always calls me Nalder, he never calls me Jay.
Well, we try to, because, yeah, I think we
If
try to
he
go to a
says
couple
Nalder,
places.
quit being a bitch,
Yeah.
I'm taking a shot. I
Yeah.
can't.
You went from
Maybe I'm
zero,
weak.
you went from
Maybe
zero
I'm
to
weak
100 night
real quick.
that
0
night.
to
Yeah.
100 real quick. And Billy can bring that out in me 100%. Not everyone can. And I'd say I'm a little bit better with peer pressure at this point in my
I love
life.
Billy. Yeah.
But when I get with Billy, it's a problem. It's fun, but it's a problem.
I love it personally because it's just, I'd get to sit back and enjoy some popcorn and then watch these two just interact. And they're just so funny, man. You and Billy have this dynamic that's, I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, but because it's a shame that I look back and used to think that he wasn't that funny because he probably was. I've told Billy this too before. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really think you were that funny before. And no, I absolutely love him. He's one of
So
my favorite people to be around.
who's always been really funny to me as well. I mean, obviously Tim, yeah.
I know. I feel bad. I barely say Tim, but I always think he's funny. But I've seen him
You
so
just
much in the last
yeah,
27
exactly.
years.
Yep.
That's why you discount something that you see a lot, but he is
I will
hilarious.
say Erichar and I, we've had our ups and downs, but whenever we get together, especially, I mean, yeah, dude, he's always been hilarious to me. He's another cat that I'll do stuff with him around him that I won't do with anybody else for whatever reason.
That's why that trip was so amazing because we were all together. Like we were
Yeah,
all
that trip
like
was stupid.
got to witness you, Cook, or I mean Cook was there too.
Cook was there.
But you, Robert, yeah, you, Robert, and Billy together is just a funny combination to me. And then Cook
Yusef
was there,
was
and
there.
Yusef was there.
Billy,
Yeah,
Timmy,
Tim.
not Tim Armitage. Tim Armitage was there, but the other
Oh,
Timmy,
Big Tim. Yeah.
Big Timmy,
Yep.
was there. And those are all
Mm,
cats we didn't go to high school with, but through
yeah.
the years, through all the birthday parties that you guys have had, we've hung out and built
Yeah,
a
man. Like
strong
almost,
relationship with all them.
yeah, most of the people that I'm pretty tight with kind of know who you are, right? So that's why it's like I talk to Cook all the time. Well, it's not like we talk about you, but like, man, when you come up, we always say good things about you, bro.
He just
So
had a birthday, right?
he did. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I see
On
that
the
on
13th.
Facebook, and I miss
Yeah.
that dude, man. Like I love Cook. Like, yeah, that dude is
Yeah.
I
Him
love
and
that dude, man.
him and Tim still work together. So they're like, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So usually like if I can't get a hold of one of them, I'll try to hit the other one up. So that's usually how it works because like, hey, I
Yeah.
know you two work together. So,
No,
but
it's been a while. I mean, since we've all kind of hung out, I think the last time I went to Daniel's house and Weathers was there, Billy showed up, and you were there, I think. I think that was that day that we went out for drinks, maybe. Was it?
could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been. And then, hey, I don't know if so
Tell
I
me.
quit smoking.
No. Are you serious?
Bro, this Sunday will be a month of no weed at all.
And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. A month is good, man.
It was just time. I mean, and I'm not saying that I'll never smoke ever again,
Yeah.
but it was time because it was just such a big part of my life
Yeah.
and I was getting sick of that. And we're
Hey,
getting
man.
older. And
Yeah.
there's still things that I want to do. I mean, honestly, I still want to have a kid. No kids. I still want to have a kid. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just quit smoking get 100% sober, if you will, and go from there.
Oh
So
yeah, I think it's we all evolve as we get older. Things change. And as you get older too, you got to really concentrate on your health a little bit more. That's kind of why
yeah,
I do keto now. Just trying to get better. We're all trying to get better. That's how I look at it.
100%.
So yeah, for some people it might be cutting out alcohol. Some people it might be cutting out weed. Some people might be cutting out sugar or carbs.
So that's kind of the
Sometimes,
funny thing is like I quit weed, but I picked up wine. But I
yeah,
don't drink wine every day. Nothing. It's nothing like that. I'll never
yet,
allow it to like
yet,
get to the point where it's like my vice, if you will. Like I'll
yeah.
never allow it to get to there. But yeah, I literally I quit weed and picked up wine.
Hey, it's all good, man. I'm proud of you, man. That's like with it being able to stop something that you've done for a long time, whether it's whatever it is,
Well,
especially
yeah,
it's,
and
I love it. It's a way for the mind to tell the body who's in control, right? So if you habitually do anything and for you to stop it for a month, man, that's so dope because
yeah.
we're so
And I mean,
used to being, we're so used to
especially me,
being in,
because most
go
cats
ahead.
that know me know that I've smoked for a long time. Yeah, when I was married, I quit for whatever, 6 years, but I've smoked for a long time. So it was just time. So I'm glad
That's
I
good,
did.
man.
And yeah,
Proud of you.
I mean, yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Oos.
Hey,
Hey,
that's,
speaking
I'm
of,
all
actually,
about
I
that.
wanted to tell you. So here back in this is another like testament to like just growing up in Spanaway and just being around so many different cultures and everything.
For sure.
Back in June, I went to visit April. She lives in Arizona, right? So
Arizona.
go
Yeah.
out there. Yep. I go out there. We go to this bar. It's called the Perch. And so it's crazy because upstairs they have a like an outdoor bar. And then down
Is this
below, they have a
Scottsdale? Where's she
restaurant.
at? I've
It's,
only been to Arizona once, and it was in, well, Scottsdale is where I think we were at.
it's,
But
man, where the hell?
so that's all I know is that one trip that I took to Scottsdale, which kind of cracked.
It's not Scottsdale.
Okay.
It's, man, I don't even know the area. Maybe Glendale. But, so we go to this bar, and like I said, upstairs is the bar, downstairs is like a restaurant, and it's a bird sanctuary. So
Oh,
all these birds, these parrots, and
right.
just any kind of bird you can imagine, tropical bird is down there, and they're like, they rescue them. So I hadn't seen any islanders there at all. I mean, the majority of the people I seen were pretty much like preppy, like white dudes. So we're down at this perch, and it's at the end of the night, and April's looking at these birds, going crazy over them, and these three Samoan cats that had
Okay.
came into the bar, they come down to the perch area where the birds are at. And they're looking at them, and they had been there before because they're like talking to us and like, man, could never get this bird to like come up to us and yada, 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 right?
I was gonna say, can you touch them? Can you touch these birds?
No,
Or
they're in there. I mean,
they're
you could touch them if they come right up to the cage,
okay,
but they're in a
okay,
cage.
okay.
So this one cat's talking to us, and he's like, yeah, I can never get this bird to even come and acknowledge us, this and that, right? And we're chit-chatting a little bit, and he's like, all right, well, y'all have a good night. And I'm like, all right, Oos, have a good night. And he turned around and was like, shit, like he wasn't expecting that, right?
For sure.
And then, so he daps me up and everything. He's like, oh, shit, not used to that around here. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, I grew up with every ethnicity you could imagine. And then when I said Samoan, he was
Oh
like,
yeah.
just saying that like
Yeah.
that. And
Properly.
I mean, we were homies from then on. Like we hung out for probably 10 minutes, bullshitted, and then he bounced.
There's a
But it
lot
was
of
just,
people say Samoan,
of
but
course,
what did you say, Jay?
Samoan, right? So
Samoan.
I said,
There we
hey,
go.
bro, I was like, I respect the culture. I know how it is. Like, I get that's the Polynesian alphabet, right? So
For sure.
same
For sure.
in Hawaii and all of that. So Hawaii.
I was going to say, I was going to correct you. You already corrected yourself. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's part of the beauty of growing up where we grew up.
For sure. Yeah, man. And just understanding people, yeah, and like cultures and yeah, man. It's that's why I love it, man. That's why I love being from
And
Spanaway.
actually, so the reason why Corey and I still to this day call each other Cuzzo, cousin, whatever, right? So it was one particular moment in high school. We were, I don't know, talking about how black people like fried chicken, right? And I was like, well, shit, we must be cousins because I be liking some fried chicken too. And so literally ever since then, Corey has been calling me Cuzzo. Promise.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That brings up he wanted me to ask you, do you remember a time where I think it
I
would
already
have
know what you're gonna say. I know. I have a feeling, but go ahead.
has to
Go
do
ahead.
with breakfast.
Yep, I knew it. Wow. So one day we smoked out. We had a session, got
Oh,
hella cheaped out, and I brought him back to my house.
yes.
And bro, I just didn't cook like a couple of eggs and a couple sausage. I
What he said.
had hash browns, I had bacon, sausage, eggs. I mean, you name it, I cooked it. And we literally murdered all of it. All of it. And
Oh man.
I knew you were gonna bring that up too. And
He
what's really
wanted
funny, okay, so speaking of Corey, he was talking about Brother Lynch Hung, right? And you guys touched on Brian Slater as well.
for sure.
And so the crazy thing about that is that out of all the people we went to high school with,
Yeah.
the person that turned me on to Brother Lynch was actually little old white boy Brian Slater. Brought me out to his car. He was like, I got 112 in my car. It bumps. He's like, you gotta come out, right? So he brings me out there, and of course he's playing Brother Lynch Hung. And I'm like, man, who is this? Like, I don't like at that point, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So literally out of all the hard ass gangsters we went to school with and everything, Brian Slater was the one that turned me on to Brother Lynch Hung. Yeah, good old Brian. And I love Brian, man. I mean, and I know you talked about we had seen each other a few years ago back in Costco. And no, it was a few years ago. It was a few years ago.
Okay.
And it was like he was loud, I was loud. Yeah, people were looking at us like, what the fuck are these guys doing? And I remember we ran up to each other and was like, oh shit, gave each other a big hug and everything. And then I just remember him telling me about this chicken. He's like, oh, you gotta try this chicken. This shit is crazy. He's like, tastes just like Chick-fil-A, blah, blah, blah. And I've gotten them ever since then. But yeah, when
I love those tips. I love those
when I
Costco
seen him,
tips.
it was one of those things where it was like, man, hadn't seen him in a while, and he seen me, called me out from way. I mean, we were a little bit of ways from each other.
Yeah.
So it was loud, and of course I got loud too, and yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time seeing him at Costco, which honestly is my favorite place in the entire world.
You were just there.
I love Costco, bro. I love Costco
too.
more than anything.
Yeah, Costco's dope. I love it. Yeah.
I'd rather go to Costco than a club these days.
What makes you love Costco so much?
Most people are like, it's the samples. I don't even get samples.
I love the samples.
It has nothing to do with the samples for me. Honestly, I just love all the different products. Like, I will go there for 1-2 things. I'll walk down every single aisle every single time.
It's true. They do set the store up like a treasure hunt, because you'll find stuff.
Yeah.
And you'll find stuff that's like you didn't know you needed. And then you're just like, damn, this is a deal. And it just works out that way.
So when I was married to Shannon, she'd be like, man, why do we have to go down every aisle? And I'm like, because you never know what you're going to find at Costco. Like, there's stuff that you didn't even know you needed that you find out you need when you see it.
True. It is true.
It's true. It's 100% true. So yeah, love Costco. It's my spot. I just went there tonight. That's where I got this wine.
Man, do you any other favorite memories from high school that you know what I was thankful to? It was our sophomore year. All the juniors and seniors could drive, and I was thankful that like you and that was tight with like people that had driver's license for like that were sophomores too. And like I remember it was like you.
Luckily, so
Daniel.
I was able. Daniel, yep. So I was able to get my mom's car most of the time. That Honda Accord station wagon. I can remember we went to. I can remember we piled in like 8 and went to passing league at UPS.
Okay,
Biggie, we were bumping Biggie Smalls, and we just the whole car was just. And the thing was going up and down, and we were like, hell yeah, we had dudes in the
Honda
back.
station wagon, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like maroon, right? What color was that?
It was maroon,
right? Yeah.
I will say it's been a minute since I've seen Zach. The last time was actually with you, Erichar, and maybe Daniel went with us, and we went up to Zach's house, and it was just a good night, reminiscing, talking. I mean, it had been a while. Love Zach. I grew up with Zach.
Right. Yeah, that was 2020.
It was the last time Erichar came here from Germany.
22. Yeah, that was 2022. That summer.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't see Zach enough, but bro, I love Zach. I mean, we grew up together. You know, he lived down the street from me. We've known each other since he moved here from Oceanside. Daniel, as far as like financially, I was the best with Daniel's, so we went pretty big.
Yeah,
we
man,
went pretty big.
Sean hooked us up too, so like we had man, rest in peace to that dude. But he, man, Sean hooked us up.
We went to Drai.
Yeah,
went to Drai, and that was a wild night. I mean, I can't even count how many bottles we had come to the table.
Yeah, I was getting mad at because they were ordering bottles from the bar, and I was like, dude, it's like if you're gonna order anything, order it from the table. We're already at the table. We're getting served, so it's like you're paying for it twice. And then thinking at that point, other people
and
had bottles too. It was kind of a crazy ordeal, but I'm thankful for you.
Vegas is one of those places where the more money you have, obviously, the better you can enjoy yourself. I mean,
we went.
We
went in 2005. It's funny. It's like, do we go every 10 years? Should we go again this year?
We should. It's been a while since I've been to Vegas. Actually, the last time I went to Vegas was Daniel's bachelor
10 years
party.
ago.
We did go to 2005 because I remember I was working in California, and we went Thanksgiving Day weekend, and I was in Cali, and it was like, all right, you guys, you fly in, I'll meet you in Vegas after Thanksgiving dinner. And everybody flew in, and we went to Vegas. I remember we stayed at the Flamingo, and that was the first time we got the suite because they overbooked.
They did.
And so they didn't have availability.
Me and
so
Daniel
gave us a suite.
I got like these vouchers in the mail that was like, hey, you buy this room, you get another room real cheap or something like that. So I think one room was under my name and then the others was in Daniel's name. And then, they messed our thing up. So, well, it's funny because I think we only had the suite for like, because we were there for the weekend in 2005. And I think we only had the suite for like 1 or 2 days. And then I remember calling, we were calling, we were like, dude, let's just stay in this suite. But all the rooms were already paid for. So we were like, okay, how much more is it per night for us to stay in this suite? And they were like, that'll be $700.
It was a lot.
Yeah, they were like, it'll be $700 more per night. We were like, oh, okay, we'll get all our
100%.
stuff. We'll get our stuff ready.
We're like, all right, we'll get our stuff and move instantly. But like I said, that's the beauty of getting a little bit older and being a little bit more financially stable because we were able to get the suite when we went back for the whole time.
Yeah.
And that was it was worth it. 100%
For sure. For sure. Yeah, that 2015 year was just crazy because that was that same year that James got married. Corey came back from Texas, and yeah, it was just crazy.
But yeah, James's wedding was phenomenal. We had to learn. Kat wanted us to do the wobble. You know what song I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
we had to do that. Do we do
Because,
that?
everyone,
Yeah,
yes, we did
yeah,
that. When we all get together, it's always
for
fun.
sure.
I mean, it really is. Like, we never not have a good time when we're all together.
That's why I just love that about the Spanaway people, our age group. I'm thankful for this channel, this podcast, you being able to join up, us having this technology. I've watched this so many times now just because I try to like look up scenes of like where our people are at. Okay, let's go.
What's crazy is I feel like I'm just not in a lot
You're
of
not,
stuff.
you're
I'm
not
not.
in this, uh, in this.
Like, I'm in it, but like nowhere to where like you could be like, there's Jay.
Yeah.
And what's really crazy is everybody that knows me as Jay, and it's just that way.
So this is from senior year.
Yeah,
You
play it, baby.
gotta look fast. I'm not gonna play the sound just because of copyright. But here we go. Big thumbs up.
That is me. Holy shit. Hey, you know what's crazy?
What's
I
crazy?
seen that video the other day when
Yeah.
you played it with Corey.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was me, bro.
No
idea.
way.
And what's really
way.
crazy is so Randy was my first roommate after college.
Yeah.
I lived with Pinotes for a hot minute,
Yeah.
and we're still hella close.
Yeah. I'll let you finish your story. Yeah.
Damn, Sean Smith, yeah, Erichar,
Darius and
Darius, and then
Watley.
is that Watley? Paul Watley?
I think that is.
Yeah.
These are so grainy. But
Hey,
I feel
it's
like
a long time ago.
it is a long time ago.
We didn't have the best picture quality back then.
We did not. You were telling a story about Randy. What were you saying?
Just, like Randy's been one of my homies for a long, long time. Like I said, we were roommates for 6 years in our 20s, in our early 20s, 5-6 years.
Yep. Dope.
I mean, like I said, we just went to Brazilian Steakhouse on Saturday together. So yeah, I mean, we go snowboarding together. Yeah, Randy's always been one of the homies for sure. You definitely have to have him on here for sure.
For sure. For sure.
I definitely want to.
I'm gonna make my rounds. To be honest, it's all scheduling. A lot of it is just scheduling, making sure that people have time and stuff. So, but yeah, and then like a lot of people
need to see Erichar.
Yeah, a lot of people are avoiding it. Like Erichar is trying to avoid it right now, but I think he's being coy. But he's just being coy. Yeah. But
whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna play this in honor of yeah. Check this out.
Yeah, play it.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I don't even know.
This is like a lock-in, leadership lock-in. So that's why it's like at night.
Yep.
It's at night, and we're just doing a bunch of skits, and it looks like you're tied up or something, and that's why it's so funny.
That's
we look
me?
at these.
That's me right there.
That's you right there, bro.
Wow. Are you for? I couldn't.
It is kind of blurry.
Thing.
Yeah.
Like I can't even. Yeah, I see it now. I'm trying to sit there and visualize the shirt because I don't know what shirt that is, but I totally remember being part of all the leadership lock-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's so funny because we're doing these skits, and a lot of these are so out of context that it just looks so weird. Like, obviously, it's so funny. So it's hard to remember exactly what's going on. And then there's another candid shot of you.
That was when I had that was when I had that Slim Shady hair right there.
You did have that Slim Shady hair.
Was that Stephanie Drake behind me? I think so.
I think so.
One of these trust balls?
Yeah, we just did a lot of random stuff.
Yeah.
This me and you in here.
That's me. Yep, that's me. There's Joel Martinez across the way from me. Is that Ralph Weddle behind me?
So you're here, and then I'm here.
Yep.
I don't know what we had obviously split
Yeah,
up into groups doing
I
something.
think I see Joel Martinez.
Yep.
Which is crazy because this last softball season, I played
By the way,
softball with.
speaking of that Vegas trip in 2001, he was in Vegas with us too. He like randomly
Yeah, he
showed up,
was.
and it was just
We
like,
randomly seen him. Yeah,
yeah,
100%. We randomly seen that dude in Vegas of all
Vegas.
places.
Yeah, out of all the weekends and of all the times, that was super random. But sorry, you were saying he's softball or something?
So softball, this last softball season, I
Okay.
played with Joel. I played with his sister Chelsea, and then their youngest brother Jack. We all played softball together, and it was us and then like all of their kids,
Whoa.
which they're hella old.
Which means we're hella old. Yeah.
Well, of course, I mean, that goes without saying.
Crazy. I think there's.
Yeah, and I mean, man, it's so hard to see who everybody is.
Yeah. It's grainy and man, everybody looks different now.
Another trust fall. Yep. 100%. Everybody looks different.
It's like, man, did we just do skits this whole time where we're always like acting or dancing or.
Yeah, I mean, I
There's a
remember
candid shot
being
of
at
you.
all of the leadership lock-ins, but it's pretty hard
Somebody
to
got
like
you right
remember.
there.
That's me. Yeah, 100%. That's me. I could tell
Like,
by
man,
those
they
red
really
cheeks.
got you. They went in deep. Yeah.
Damn,
And
they
then,
did go in deep.
yeah, man. And then that's all the
That's
ones that I could find.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's all the ones I could find from the archives.
Man,
But
I
yeah,
wish I
man.
could sleep like that nowadays because I don't sleep anywhere near that good.
Right. Do you have any favorite memories from playing football at all? Yeah, any from
So here's the thing with me, right? I would say that I wasn't a great football player, but I could hit like a. And
yeah,
so
for
for
sure.
me, the one memory that I had was sophomore year. It was Coach Roback's first year of coaching, and it was our first day with pads during Hell Week, 2-a-days.
Okay.
And everybody was dragging ass hard. I mean, nobody was hitting. There was no pop, nothing, right? And I can remember Coach Roback lost it. And this was, like I said, this was his first year, so no one knew what that looked like, right? And he just blew the whistle and was like, "You guys are hitting like a bunch of pussies. Blah, blah, blah. It's the first day of pads. You guys should be smacking each other, this, that." He's like, "Right now, everybody line up." So we line up, and this is the first time we heard the dude yell.
Yeah.
The vein right here was popping out, and we were all like, "Shit, what's about to happen?"
Yeah. I have a memory from that too.
And I'll never forget this shit. He was just calling out people, "Get up here right now," right? This, that, and it was line up, throw the ball to one cat, boom, hit each other as hard as you can. This was back in the day when you could still hit. You can't do any of those drills anymore, which is absolutely heartbreaking to me.
Crazy. Yeah.
But whatever. So I can remember he goes, "Derek Coley, get up here." And then he's like, "Where's Nalder? Nalder, get up here." And at this point, I'm shaking. I'm like, oh my God, I am ready to hit somebody more than I've ever been ready to hit. And I remember he pitches the ball to Derek Coley. And I remember I hit, as soon as Derek Coley gets the ball, I hit him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hit him to where like shoulder pads hit first.
Yeah.
And I'm on top of him and I'm so pumped. Like I'm taking his chest and I'm like slamming it into the ground. And I can remember he goes, "Now that's how you hit." And everybody just start coming up to me as I'm on top of Coley, and they're smacking me, smacking my head. And he ends practice on that hit.
Wow.
And I mean, as a sophomore,
Yeah.
That was like, for me, like, my God, like, wow. What I'm
So
saying, like,
I remember that
that to
practice.
me,
Well, not the real practice, but I remember it was the first day of pads, like for our sophomore year. And a couple days before, when we didn't have pads on, man,
I know what you're
I
going to
juked
say.
Derek Rawls bad. I juked him bad. Like I shook him so bad that, that like he totally whiffed on me, right? And then
And it's
that
Derek
first day of
Rawls, so
pads,
he's not supposed to do that.
yeah, yeah,
You're not
and
supposed to make Derek Rawls miss like that.
so the first day of pads, my gosh, it was that
If
drill. So like
he
it was
got you back.
you and Derek Coley, it was me and Derek Rawls, and then Derek Rawls. It's the one time I remember getting snot bubbles where it was just like I was on the ground, my chest was like blown up, and then I had like snot coming out my nose, and I was just like, damn. Cause I tried to juke him, man. He just ran through me. Like it was like
And he was like, not this time, son.
the
Not
same
this
way,
time.
like the same way a home run hitter would just hit a ball clean. It was clean like that. It was just like just chopped through me, and dude, I was obliterated. I just remember just like, dude, okay, and that was the first day of pads, and then yeah, I just remember I was definitely humbled that day for sure because I was just like, damn, and it's
100%.
the worst is like when you get blown up in front of the whole team, though. But it was like you said, it was supposed to be like that because he was a senior, we were sophomores, so
100%. I mean,
he's
he was
supposed
a
to smack
senior.
me.
He was
Yeah,
he
free
was a
athlete
solid
on the
player.
team. Yeah, top three
100%.
athlete on the
Like
team. So
those
yeah, like he
seniors
was
that we
supposed to blow
had,
me up like that. Yeah,
100. Yeah. Those seniors that we had on our team, I
yeah, they
mean,
were like grown men.
it's a shame that more of them didn't go on and play D1 because all of those dudes had D1 caliber.
It's a shame we weren't better than what we were
We
because
should have been
we should
100%.
have been way better. We were just
The,
so
the talent,
undisciplined.
the talent
Yeah,
level and the size of the guys that we had
yeah.
were absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it's just, it was what it
Yeah, it's
was.
just I mean, because we had sucked for so long. So that year we only won one or two games, if that. I think the year
Annihilated
before
almost
we
every game.
every game, yeah. And
Every
then
game.
that's why it's funny when I brought up that story about when we went to go play Lakes the next year, our junior year, it was our first game, and then we got annihilated by Lakes, and it was just like, dude, why do we just keep on getting annihilated?
I can
So
remember, so that game, Drew Miller broke the state touchdown passing record against us.
8 touchdowns.
And yep, he 8 touchdowns. And then he was actually in Sports Illustrated because of that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
And
later
then
that October. Yeah,
I can remember that same game, Van Star goes to cut block Campbell Alafeo from Lakes.
yeah.
And I had heard crazy stories about that dude, like super
No kidding.
hardcore gangster. Yep, right. And what's funny is I actually know one of his cousins that is Mookie's next door, like one of Mookie's neighbors. And every time I go hang out with Mookie, his cousin is there. Abel. His name's Abel Alafeo. But so Campbell got sick of getting cut blocked by Van Star. And I can remember this was literally 50-yard line, and he steps back, throws Van into the ground, and continues to stomp his head into the turf. And of course, he
Yeah,
got kicked out of the game, but he didn't care because he's like, you are not going to do that to me
yeah.
again this game.
Campbell was a beast. Yeah,
He's a
for
beast.
sure.
I mean, that dude was an absolute monster. Like one of
Yeah,
those guys that you go, man, that dude, if he had his stuff together, he'd have been in the league.
we got smoked a lot by a lot of teams, and so
Bro,
that's
listen,
what's
our sophomore year, I can remember 5 of the teams that we played were in the top 10 in the state.
yeah,
You had
yeah,
Sumner, because this was back when we were only AAA. We weren't 4A yet. This
yeah.
was
There was
only
no 4A.
AAA.
There was no 4A
Yep, no
yet.
4A until our junior year.
Yeah,
So sophomore year, Sumner was in the top 10. You had Lakes was in the top 10. You had Puyallup was in the top 10. You had Curtis, who wound up winning state that year.
Yeah.
And then you had
yeah, man, our league was tough.
Rogers.
We played
Rogers
some
was
just
in the
hard
top
teams.
10.
Rogers
was
yeah,
in the
that's
top
right.
10 because Rogers had Jason Johnson, who winded up going and playing at POU.
Johnson.
And was, Jason Johnson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we played 5 teams that were in the top 10 in the state. And, yeah, we got absolutely obliterated every single game.
Murdered.
Curtis,
every
I think,
game.
was Curtis, I think, beat us. Like, we played them at Curtis. It was like 68-12. And we only scored those 12 points in the last few minutes when they had, like, their 4th string in. Like, it was bad. It was bad.
It was bad. I mean, but I had fun, though. So, do you remember going to Elbe?
Bro, and then not only can I remember going to Elbe, but I can remember going.
What's Elbe?
Huh?
What is that?
Well, we went through Elbe, but we went to Camp Sispus for the
That's
team.
Right. Hey, thank you.
That's what it
right.
Was. So we went
saw
through
the sign.
We went through
everybody
Elbe,
started. Yeah.
Going back to Elbe. The Biggie.
That's a Biggie song. That's a Biggie song. Yep.
Going back to Cali. Yep.
But once we seen that sign, man, the whole bus started singing it.
Bus.
Yeah.
The whole bus. And what's crazy about that, actually, now that you bring that up, so on that trip, we're on the Sispus River. It was me, Zach Olson, Van Star, somebody else was with us too. And we're looking at the Sispus River, and it's cold, like extra cold. Like, jump into it, and you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And we thought it would be cool if, what if you jumped in the river, swam across it, and down the way there was a log sticking out from the bank? We were like, what if we jump, swim down, and then grab onto that log and pull ourselves up? So we're all arguing, like, who's going to do it first? And
I think I was there.
You might have been there, honestly.
Because I have an idea who went first. So
it was Van.
It was Van.
So
and
Zach and I are sitting there going, if you go, I'll go.
What tripped me out, Van was wearing his jeans. He was wearing jeans.
Oh,
all he took off was his 100%. Shirt. Which is weird. He took off his shirt, but then he kept his jeans on. Damn, you unlocked that memory. I forgot that even happened, but yeah.
Listen, we thought Van was going to die. We were like arguing, like, who was going to go? And I remember I kept telling Zach, you go, I'll go. Right after you go, I'll jump in right behind you. Zach's like, no, you do it, I'll do it. And then while we're arguing, Van just jumps in.
Yes, that's right.
Just goes.
Yeah.
He gets down to the log.
I do remember
and we're
that.
watching him. He's having a hard time. The current is pulling him under.
Yeah.
And he's having a hard time pulling himself up on there. And we're like, oh my God, this dude's about to die. He finally pulls himself up, and he's yelling back at us like, don't do it. Don't do it. So then he's walking up, and I can remember this clear as day. He's walking up the other side of the bank, and there's the bridge way down the way. And so he's walking towards the bridge, and then all of a sudden, he jumps back in and starts swimming at the angle towards us. So he's upriver now, and he's swimming towards us. And the whole time we're like, man, Van's going to be pissed. He's good. Like, we were saying we was going to go if somebody else went, and we didn't do it. And so, but then he got back to us, and we pulled him out, and he was like, dude, no one should have went.
Stuff as kids.
That was dumb as shit.
Stuff as kids. Rest in peace, man.
100%.
Yeah, we did some.
I know, man.
Stuff.
Rest in peace, Van. Love you, dude. You was a great cat. I love that dude, man. That dude was down for anything.
Yeah, that's a crazy. I totally forgot that happened. And then, like, when you set the scene, just that picture of Van jumping in the water with just his jeans on, with his jeans on, I was like,
see it right now.
It's like, dang, that's crazy. This dude's trying to swim with his jeans on across this river, and then It was just like, this does not look safe at all. And so
There was nothing safe about that jump. Like,
yeah, that was not, it
nothing
was not,
safe.
yeah.
That current, and then that temperature of that water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
that water it was all mountain runoff. So
Yeah.
that water literally was ice cold.
For sure.
So,
Even though it was summertime, yeah, it was mountain runoff for sure. So yeah,
yeah, there was nothing warm about that water.
Yeah. Let's get some of these questions out of the way.
Yeah, hit the questions up.
Favorite song or group from back then is, and then what is it now?
I've always been all over the place with music.
For sure.
Super eclectic. I mean, I liked hardcore rap, but then I loved alternative. I can remember back in the day, like Marcy Playground. I love Sublime back in the day.
Yeah.
But then I also grew up, listening to classic rock, and I grew up listening to like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Damn, you're all over. Yeah.
Yeah, literally all over. So it was really, it's pretty tough to say a favorite song. I mean, I probably have a favorite song of each kind of genre. I really did love some Sublime. Sublime is still amazing to me. But nowadays, you and I,
they're one of my favorites to sing. Sublime is one of my favorites to sing at karaoke. Like Santeria just goes hard.
They have so many songs that are amazing.
And now that song's like 30 years old, but yeah.
Nowadays, I still listen to a lot of hip hop. I mean, shit, just today I was listening to Brother Lynchung. I'm not going to lie. Usually,
shout out to Corey, Sandman.
100%. Corey, Sandman. Just actually the other day when I went with Randy, we were listening to Brother Lynchung.
Nice.
But nowadays, only concerts I go to, and you already know, more of that Hawaiian reggae. Love me some J Boog. Right now, my favorite is Maui.
Yeah.
I love him. I love his. I'm not a huge fan of country, but I love how he mingles country with Hawaiian reggae together. Yeah. Like, it's phenomenal. It really is. Shit, Common Kings is actually coming to Muckleshoot tomorrow.
Snap. You going?
No, because it's midweek. It's Thursday. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise than that, I would 100% be going. Shout out to Gerald Perez and Two Story Zori, because they're a great group, man. I love listening to Two Story Zori. Whenever they're around and I can go, I will go.
Actually, I think they have a free show coming up in Bellevue.
Coming up. They do.
Bellevue,
100%
March.
They do.
I got you, Gerald, because
Yep.
Gerald is another one. March?
Yeah.
In Bellevue, like somewhere. But it's free show?
Yep.
So
it's free show.
I'll put the details in the description. So
yeah,
I mean,
because
the show is 3 weeks away from the recording of this. So, and it's a free show, and you can support one of our brothers from Spanaway. That's
and hey, it's good vibes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love, honestly, about like Hawaiian reggae, is just that, like, we're old, bro.
Yeah, 1,000.
No one wants to fight at those events. You know, it's just all good. It's all good vibes.
Good vibes, 1,000%. That's why I like to go to.
Love me some Spawn Breezy.
That was one of my
Common Kings.
Another moment. Do you remember we went to go watch J Boog in Marymore? But you had brought some.
I love Marymore.
Yeah, Marymore Park over in Redmond, and I had caught the bus over there because I think I had come straight from work. It was like a Friday night or something. I know
exactly what year you're talking about.
And then, and I think you had the Escalade. You did have the Escalade.
I had the SE, and I had some people with me.
You had some people from Olympia that were
going to go to Ohana's afterwards, and you were like, "Hey, we're going to Ohana's," and I told those cats, I was like, "Listen, I'm going to Ohana's with my boy Heinz."
Yeah.
They winded up. They had no other choice but to go, but then I think they caught an Uber home from Seattle
to Olympia,
which cost them hella. But I was like, "Listen, bro,
probably at least
I'm not trying to go home."
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not trying to go home.
And I
I'm
was
trying
just
to go
like,
hang out with Heinz at Ohana's.
yeah, I was just like, my bad, guys. I kind of known Jay for like since junior high, and then so I pulled that junior high card.
Yeah. And
But man,
I remember
I'm so
me,
thankful for you though, because I was like, hell yeah. And then we ended up kicking it that night,
we kicked
home
it hard.
base. Yeah,
Me, you, Randy was with us. Yeah,
Jason
just a
O'Brien was with
yeah,
us.
O'Brien. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I usually go to Marymore. I usually see Revolution,
Yeah,
Slightly Stupid, and
it's just
Irations coming
Barrymore's a nice
again.
venue. It's a
It's
nice
a great
venue. If
venue.
it's a great
It's
day,
chill.
if the weather's nice, oh man, Marymore Park is a great venue. Great
Yeah,
venue to watch performances there.
100%. So like I said, nowadays I definitely go to those concerts and those concerts pretty much only, but those are my go-to like good vibe. I'm saying if
Hell
I'm
yeah.
at the gym, I will listen to some hip hop, some Brother Lynch. I actually a newer artist that I get down with is Dave East from New
Okay.
York. Um love him, but like I said, it's one of those where like it's a vibes.
For sure. I follow vibes all the
When
time.
I'm wanting to get into that mode, I'll listen to that kind of stuff. But country is really the only thing I really don't listen to. I still
Yeah.
know a lot of country songs,
All
especially
good.
the newer country, not so much the old stuff.
Yeah. Favorite food from back then and now?
Oh man.
Like
I
what'd you eat in
mean,
high school? What was one of your
like
favorite things
Corey
to eat?
said, whatever my mom put on the table.
Feel that.
Uh, but I mean, I grew up with my Italian side. I mean, pasta, any kind of like
I feel like more people should be
macaroni.
saying fast food because I swear we ate fast food all the time in high school. I just remember being at like I said, Spanaway McDonald's and Spanaway Jack in the Box. It's like I swear,
You know
I
where?
felt like I
Hey,
was ate there all the time. Oh, I got
you
a
know where we
place
used to go to?
where
KFC in high and when we were seniors because so Nicole Manning amongst many others worked at KFC
yes,
and we go to KFC and you get like those 3 tenders which they would hook you up with like 5, 6 of them, right?
yeah,
Fries and a drink for like $3.99. But
yeah,
I will say my job in high school was at
yes.
Boston Market.
Boston Market, yes.
I got
So that was the
hella
other
people
spot. So you
jobs at
already know.
Boston Market,
So you already
and
know hella people.
Boston
So that you
Market was
probably ate
fire.
hella Boston Market too back
Oh,
then.
my dad would call me and be like, "Hey, bring home some of that," especially like during Thanksgiving time. He'd be like, "Hit up, bring me some brownies, bring me that apple pie, and then get some turkey breasts."
Dude, that was
Um, so yeah, Boston Market back in the day. I mean, yeah, I ate a lot of it, but I
yeah,
worked
that
there.
was
And like I said, I
senior
got
year.
everybody jobs. I got my sister a job there. I got Stickle a job there. I got Sarah Vanderplat a job there. I got
Jay
Goodall a
Thomas
job there.
worked there,
Jay
didn't he?
Thomas.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, I
dude,
got
so
so
many
many
of
people.
y'all.
I mean, because they liked me, and so if I recommended anybody, they'd be like, "All right, sounds good. We'll hire them." And yeah, it was good stuff. It was fun working with all the friends too. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
Boston Market was cracking for
that's
sure.
partly why there's no more Boston Markets
Nowadays,
in Washington.
probably we bankrupted them.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays,
Nowadays,
I mean, I've really been on the healthy tip. I mean, honestly, like I eat I eat a lot of chicken and any kind of different ways. I mean, I'll eat it curry style. I like spice, which I never liked back in the day. But I mean, when I say I like spice, like I like ghost pepper type spice, like
yeah.
next level.
I
Yeah,
like
I
I
like
like
that
I
kind of
like
stuff.
one or two levels below that. I like spice a lot, but like ghost pepper level is like too much for me.
Yeah, bro, listen, I will, if I ever find every once in a while and I'm at Safeway, I'll find fresh Carolina Reapers or ghost peppers.
Yeah,
I will buy them every single time and I'll cook whatever marinade, like chicken that I marinated chicken.
yeah.
I'll just throw those peppers in there and call it good.
Wow.
So I
So Favorite movie from back then and now?
So I thought about this, and I know Corey said it, but I mean, bro, I grew up Italian, right? So like for me, come on, Goodfellas. I mean,
Fellas, number one.
Goodfellas. I mean, yeah, it's right up there with one of the best. And actually, another movie that I loved and I'll still watch even if it's on. I actually have it on Apple
VHS.
TV.
Okay.
No, not
Yeah.
VHS. Enemy of the State with Will Smith. It was his first big movie.
Tommy Lee
Love that
Jones.
movie.
Is Tommy Lee Jones in that too? Or who
No,
else is in that?
no, just Will Smith.
That's Men in Black. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And I've
Uh,
never been a huge fan of Men in Black because I'm not a huge fan of like the makeup
yeah.
shit. Like it's got to be somewhat
Yeah.
believable for
Realistic.
me. Yeah, exactly.
Enemy of the State. Who else is in that movie? I'm trying to think who else is in that movie.
Gene Hackman. That's the older cat that's in that.
That's who it is. Gene Hackman. Yes.
Will
I
Smith.
knew it was an older person.
Yeah, for
Tommy Lee
sure.
Jones. She's yeah.
And then his wife.
And then now
is,
it's
now, man, it's hard. I mean, there's a lot of good movies out. I mean, there's so many movies out now that that's a tough call.
a lot of times some people's favorite movies are still their favorite movies. Like I'm a big Godfather fan, and it's still probably one of my favorites today.
Yeah,
It
and
kind of
what's
popped that
crazy
movie on and
is
love
I
it.
don't as much as I love mob movies and as many
Yeah.
books as I've read on the mafia and as
Yeah.
well versed as I am in the mafia,
You don't like
I
that
don't
movie?
really. It's not that I don't like it. I don't know it, and I've never watched it enough to where like I know all the ins and outs of it,
Read
which
the
is
book.
crazy because people
Read
are
the
like,
book.
how, like,
Read
how
the
do
book
you
first.
know what I mean?
I would actually read the book first because, like,
Yeah.
when you read the book, it'll break down all the five families. It'll break down like who's
Donnie
trying to do
Brasco,
what.
listen, I've
Yeah, Donnie
read
Brasco. I remember that from.
Donnie
I remember
Brasco's a great movie. I've read actually more books on the mafia than any other subject. Like the mafia, absolutely, it's crazy to me because like my mom was born in Queens, a couple of blocks away from where John Gotti lived, and so to me, I mean, if I grew up in New York, I swear to God, I'd be in the mafia. Like I love as much as they caused ruckus and this and that. There's something about the mafia that I love. Obviously,
No, for
I'm
sure.
not that cold. I'm not that
It's appealing.
cold-hearted.
It's partly why I
So
like The Godfather. It's a very appealing story of like power and like
yeah,
like how to.
I will say I do love all the Equalizers. I just watched the first Equalizer again the other day. I mean,
It's funny.
Denzel is a great actor. I mean, come on,
It's funny
he's
that we were
phenomenal.
It's funny that we were talking about like bankruptcy and stuff, and not to mention any names, but it's like I think we bankrupted. And you're talking about movies. I think we some of us took part in bankrupting Hollywood Video. So I'll just maybe leave it at
God,
that.
I
I'll maybe just leave it at
yeah,
that.
the
So
homie. We'll just say the homie.
the homie
And
for
for
sure.
the homie, and for all y'all that know the homie,
If you know, you know,
knows
and
that
most people
you got a
know if
lot
you're
of videos from that cat.
from that dude. And so
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
favorite hobbies from back in the day, and any favorite hobbies now.
Well, I mean, they've changed. I mean, obviously, back in the day, I was totally a sports guy, nonstop. I mean, I played every sport. I loved weightlifting back in the day, loved competing. The last couple years, I've gotten back into weights, into the
I need
gym.
to get back in the weights, and I just started doing
Dude,
push-ups literally like last month.
I still love the gym.
Yeah.
I go and it's crazy because, and it sucks because I just literally a couple weeks ago, I tore my bicep at work.
Yeah.
So the gym, as far as like that part of my body is going to have to kind of take a break, but I still love going and doing squats, even though everybody's like, oh, squats, why don't you do leg press? It's a lot less. But I'm like, dude, you could put on 9 plates and do a leg press,
That's
but
kind of true.
you can't even squat
2
225.
plates.
So
Yeah, which is 225
exactly.
is 2 plates on each side. So yes.
Squats are where it's at. And I love deadlifting. Something I never did back then, but I love doing now, I love snowboarding.
Oh, there you go. Sweet.
I've
Yeah.
been snowboarding since actually a little bit after we graduated. Love snowboarding. Actually, Randy and I got into snowboarding together. A couple years back, we went to Whistler with Pat Martin and Matt Polis. Matt Polis flew out from North Carolina. We all went. We all drove up to Canada and went to Whistler. So yeah, so love snowboarding. And nowadays, I love softball. Don't play baseball anymore, but I get down on some softball, which this season's going to probably not happen because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get surgery on my bicep
Oh,
here.
damn, brutal.
Yeah, we'll see. I got to
We'll
get
see.
an MRI within the next week or so, or well, schedule it within the next week, get the MRI, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to have surgery. So
Brutal.
softball's kind of out of the mix, but those are pretty much my main hobbies other
Nice.
than, yeah. So,
What made you happy back in high school, and then what makes you happy now?
well, there's one thing, I mean, come on.
Kind of given, yeah.
Honestly, I've always enjoyed competing, whether it be just even in school. Even though other students didn't know that we were in competitions is huge. And even at work, I try to always compete. It doesn't really matter if I'm better than the next guy, but I compete internally.
Class, I wish I could have, I would love to have gone back and tried to be in this class with you guys because of the competing thing. But I would have loved to get into AP English because, man, I felt like you guys talked about that class a lot.
English was good. I took that 2 years in a row, Miss Worcester Brown, Miss WB.
Me, yeah.
So listen, speaking of that, and now that you say that, so Brian Slater and I had AP Government and Politics together, senior year.
Yeah.
Miss Allen was our teacher. So, which is funny because Brian teaches AP Government and Politics at Sumner.
Wow.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
So during that class, literally we had to be graduating. I don't know. It was like our last week of school, maybe last 2 weeks of school. And we're in class. Miss Allen is up at the overhead projector, which I know they don't even have now.
Yeah.
She is jotting down stuff, right? And I'm on one side of the room. Brian Slater's on the other side of the room. And I look over at Brian and I'm like, right? And he looks back at me. He's like, right?
No way.
Then this dude proceeds to get up out of his chair. He literally gets a running start, does a somersault behind Miss Allen, jumps up like 10 feet in front of me. This cat has got a water gun, and he jumps up and he starts blasting me with the water gun. Swear to God. Miss Allen calls this dude out of the classroom, blah, 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 right? She's like, listen, Brian, I have no other choice but to suspend you. It was a gun, even though it was a water gun, right? So literally, we had 2 weeks to graduate. He gets expelled for like 3 days, a week.
Suspended.
And I'm
suspended.
Suspended. Yeah, not expelled. Suspended, right? And so I'm looking at Miss Allen and I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, come on, Miss Allen. Like, you're the homie.
There's only 2 weeks left to go.
There's 2 weeks left. We're graduating. Yeah. And literally, like, I was a TA for her. He was a TA in one of her classes. So it was like, are you seriously going to suspend this dude? And she's like, my hands are tied. I have no other choice. And so that
feels
was
like
one
something
of the
that
memories.
Maybe could have been let go.
100%. I mean, come on. But it was hilarious, dude. The way he like literally did a somersault right behind her and then got up and started blasting me. That's was crazy. Like, yeah, 2 weeks left, graduation. And so, yeah. You just made me think of that. So
yeah, that's why I love these, because there's a lot of times we'll start some stories and then it'll wake up parts of your brain that'll remember something else. And then that's why it's like, man, who's watching these where we're just reminiscing about some old stuff that we did, and it's like, I don't know, people just tend to watch it. Okay, last question. Let's wrap this whole thing up
Last
with a
question. We
bow.
gotta wrap it up.
Land the
It's hella late.
Land the plane. Time travel. If you could go back to the day we graduated and have a conversation with yourself and say something to yourself, what would that conversation be? What would be in there? What would you say to that senior that just graduated, that graduate now, no longer a senior, I guess?
You know, I would say stay focused. Here's the thing, like, everyone knows that when I was in high school, I was a studious student. I mean, I was all about getting good grades and being focused.
Yeah.
And then when I got to UW, I had never let loose. And so UW, I didn't have somebody watching over me like I did growing up. So
I
like,
had a little bit of
it was
that.
easy for me to fall off a course. And
Sure.
I would
Definitely
say
not focused in that
I was
first
not
year at
focused
UW.
about school. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about school. And
Yeah.
I was more
Which
focused
is
about
the
hanging out
craziest
and
180.
having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So I would tell myself, stay focused, because at the end of the day, I mean, I would have liked to have finished school and done something with a degree. But hey, you know, life is what it is, and it takes you where it takes you.
It does.
So,
for sure.
and I've had a lot of good memories,
And, you know, like
regardless of where
I'm
it
trying to
is.
say, we're not old though. We still have a lot of time, potentially. Who knows? Something could happen tomorrow.
I'm not going to go back to school and
Yeah.
finish a degree and do something
No,
different.
but there's different ways.
But
There's different ways to skin a cat now.
100%.
So that's partly
know,
why.
and
That's partly why I'm starting this channel. Starting
You
this
know, and
channel
hey,
for
listen,
me
at
is
the
like
end of the
going to
day,
school.
I've told myself like numerous times, like, man, I wish I would have finished school. I wish I would have done this, right? But I have a lot of great memories. And I mean, I make a pretty good living, and it's not like I'm struggling. So it is what it is. You know, that's no regrets, basically, is what I kind of look at it as.
Oh yeah. Thank you for joining the SwaySide Connection podcast.
This is thanks for having me on. I mean, I like I said, I've been looking forward to it ever since I seen that first episode, and I'm glad we could catch up. And honestly, I can't wait for you to get back here from
Yeah, man, it's fun
Samoa,
just
so we
catching
can
up
go
with the
hang out.
homies. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
for
Yep,
sure.
I'll be back soon.
I
Eventually, we'll
can't
see.
wait to see who else you got on here.
I'm super thankful for you joining the SwaySide Connection podcast today. And yeah, man, much love to, you and your family and, all the homies back in Washington. But thank you guys for joining this episode, and I'll check you guys on the next one.
All right, Big Oos. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.